My favourite character in the series. I see a lot of takes that people say Megumi is flat or hasn't done enough to deserve the warranted hype from his character. From the poor take saying he's a Sasuke clone, or comparing him to other characters such as Aki, just for the simple fact that they have black hair colour. The beauty of Megumi resides in his motivation, and the potential for his whole character arc, and it starts off with his ideology of saving people selfishly. This is already a contradiction to his job description of a Jujutsu sorcerer, as their main goal stems from protecting humans from curses they cannot fight back against. But to save selfishly means you can end up making things worse for those who you are meant to protect, and this could be seen in his beginning introduction of saving Yuji Itadori. Megumi's biggest mistake was saving Yuji from a morality standpoint, and has served as a conflict of interest. Did Megumi make the right decision? This is first challenged when Yuji dies, the first time after Sukuna takes away his heart. With Sukuna bearing down at Megumi, he begins to contemplate why did he save Yuji. This is where we learn Megumi's mindset, and the idea of saving people unfairly stems from Sumiki, who serves as a guidepost for his morality. In chapter 59, when Megumi beats up the school students, he states that he hates bad people with unearned pride, just as much as he did good people who were too merciful to the former. Sumiki is a perfect example of a good person to Megumi, but he was annoyed with her hypocrisy, whether she would get upset for him hurting bad people. Megumi eventually realized that he is immature and was wrong to think that way. He realized that Sumiki was simply choosing to protect him in the same way he chose to save people selfishly, and Sumiki believed that Megumi's lack of forgiveness is his way of showing kindness. With Sumiki being cursed and Megumi's reflecting on how someone who deserved kindness could receive such a cruel fate, it ties into the discipline criminals are dealt with under the law. His conclusion is that Jujutsu sorcerers are cogs in this never-ending cycle of karma retribution, and uses this to enforce his ideology of saving people who he deems worthy, and the key word used is whether it is fair or not. We then see Yuji come back to life, take control of his body, and Megumi explains why he saved Yuji. He understands that his decision is an emotional one, and based on his judgment of what is a good person. This stems from a bigger conversation of law versus morality. The law may fail to regulate the society, and in JJK that can be further evident with both Yuta and Yuji not giving a chance to prove their worth but being deemed for execution. To take it to a step further, the hard reality of female sorcerers, especially those in the Zenin clan, and that allows mistreatment to continue till my girl Maki cleaned house. But their mistreatment was not deemed as malpractice in any regard. This poses the question, is Megumi's morality above the law? And poses a nice question to be raised. Ties in nicely with Gojo, talking about the current generation will not stand for the current Jujutsu society, and this is already evident in Megumi's mindset and even Maki's slaughter of the Zenin clan. But in the future, Yuji taking away Sukuna could end up being a huge benefit to society and become the right decision. Or we could get more things like Shibuya, where Sukuna massacres the whole population, especially if Yuji is to lose control permanently, and why people such as Kukusabe's POV are understandable. The threat of Sukuna is real, and even though Yuji is a good person, Megumi's selfish decision can end up becoming something that becomes a threat to the entire world and Megumi himself. This wraps up back nicely to law versus morality. Megumi is in a tough situation, and cause the choices he makes are inherently hypocritical, believes good people should deserve good things, but from a society point of view, Yuji dying is for the benefit for the entire society, where Yuji being alive will cause their good people to be affected by Sukuna's presence. This is further enforced within chapter 6, where Yuji and Megumi argue about saving the corpse of the guy in the detention center where they meet the finger bearer. Megumi says to leave the body because he's a bad person, whereas Yuji says we should save as many people as possible. Megumi then responds with, "Who's to say that someone who you save won't kill someone in the future?" And Yuji screams back at Megumi and says, "Why did he save me?" The whole conversation nicely ties in the POV of both characters and the dilemma that Megumi finds himself. Yet throughout the story we see it be touched upon more. This contradicts the main thesis of, "I didn't want to see a good person die," but is further explained with his closing quote of, "I'm not a hero, I'm a Jujutsu sorcerer." Megumi then enforces that he never regrets the fact he saved him, and he's aware of the consequences of his decision. This is further shown again after post-Shibuya, the Yuji extermination arc, where he tells Yuji not to be selfish and dwell on the mistakes of Shibuya because he acknowledges he is also to blame in two parts. One, saving Yuji in the first place, and two, summoning Mahuraga, which led to Sukuna using the domain that wiped out Shibuya. Furthermore, he reaffirms the most important thing about his character and his way of being a Jujutsu sorcerer. No one can really judge us, we must prove the worth of our existence. This not only encapsulates Megumi's whole character and his version of law versus morality, and how saving people selfishly is his version of a Jujutsu sorcerer. His mindset is a byproduct of the injustice of the Jujutsu society, and his whole upbringing shapes up for an interesting aspect of his character. Now, even with all that at stake, this has been pivotal to the character development Megumi has done across the series. Megumi's development in strength and being able to trust other people has been key to his character growth. He first starts off a person isolated and very independent in what he does, and his major breakthrough of that is shown in Shibuya, where he tells Yuji to help save him. Before I touch on that, his strength increase has also been helped by being with Yuji, and being put in so many dangerous situations, but has shaped up coincidentally by meeting Sukuna. Megumi has taken advice from both Sukuna and Gojo to the path to become a stronger Jujutsu sorcerer. Megumi, before taking inspiration, was going down a path of a wasted prodigy, and shows similar parallels of that of somebody such as Killua, who mentally restricts themselves to become stronger. Gojo says, dying to win and risking death to win are completely different. It's an important pathway to the change of Megumi's psyche in fights, and it can be shown in different ways. The fight against the Finger Bearer and the fight against Reggie are two of where you can see a focus on dying to win rather than risking death to win. But the key to this all has been Sukuna. In the Finger Bearer fight, he calls back to both Gojo and Sukuna, and the final words of being a waste of potential is what causes Megumi to not summon Mahuraga and begin to visualize the first concept of his domain. We then see in his fight with Reggie, he did not once think to summon his trump card, even on the back foot, and an individual who hard counters his domain. This highlights the growth he has taken to become more selfish in fights and to focus on dying to win rather than risking death to win. This is further enforced with him being able to trust his friends. Being able to trust his friends in people such as Yuji allowed him to take off the shackles of trying to get the points and to focus completely on getting rid of his opponents. Moreover, the parallels with Gojo and Megumi are very apparent, and it gives us a good workthrough on how Megumi can 1. Become stronger, that is through their morality and unhinged moments in fights. But this steps as only a guideway, and even though he's taken things from both Gojo and Sukuna, that point where he takes on his own path that makes him one of the strongest will complete his character arc in terms of strength. Sukuna disregards everybody and finds pleasure in what he does. Gojo has a strong sense of self and is focused on his ideals of changing the Jujutsu world. But what will Megumi's be? Currently it's to save people selfishly, however with the anticipated loss of Sumiki, I believe this will be a key changing point in what shapes up Megumi's ideals in a similar manner with Gojo failing the Star Plasma Vessel mission and losing Geto. But being strong is important for him to uphold his current philosophy of saving people selfishly. But the switch from Megumi trusting other people has also been a key change in his character that has been directly affected by being with Yuji. In the beginning he had a distance between Nobara and Yuji, and even talk about the past or the condition of Sumiki was difficult for him. Until Nobara and Yuji confronted him and followed him to the bridge where Sumiki has been cursed. He eventually opened up and reacted positively to them wanting to help with his situation. This led to the biggest character growth where he's vulnerable and asks Yuji to help save him and help save his sister Sumiki in Shibuya. This underrated piece of growth from Megumi has been important, especially with his character that's very independent and stoic in nature. Being able to trust people has allowed him to become less burdened and become even more selfish, as I had just talked about in his fights as he showcased in Tokyo No. 2. Even though the overall saving of Yuji could end up becoming a detriment to his life, in the end, being with Yuji has led him to go stronger mentally and physically, and served as an interesting dynamic between two friends on their point of view of being a Jujutsu sorcerer. In conclusion, Megumi is him, and his version on law versus morality is an intriguing concept that unfortunately ends up being hypocritical by him saving Yuji. However, him saving Yuji has not only caused him to grow stronger, it has allowed him to become more trusting of other people and has been a benefit to his life regardless of the danger of sukuna. I hope you enjoyed this analysis of his character, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe for more JJK content. And if you like analysis like this, let me know if you'd like to see one for Mahito.